Okay, so the concept we're going to talk about today is parallel lines cut by a transversal. If you take a look at this picture, what lines are parallel?
M
and N. Okay, so M and N are parallel lines.
M and N.
What does it mean to be parallel lines?
Like to keep straight and not go.
Keep straight. What do parallel lines never do? They never cross. Good. Okay, so M and N are your parallel lines. With your parallel lines, we've got two different sections. We've got the inside, the interior of your parallel lines. Well, that's the section that's in between the two. Make sense? Inside. Okay, we also have exterior. That's on the outside of your parallel lines. Okay, so that's something you're going to need to keep in mind. We also have what we call a transversal line. Your transversal line is the line that cuts through your parallel lines. So A is a transversal. So when we're looking at this picture, this first flap on the left says same side interior angles. Okay, think about it. Same side. Okay, when they talk same side, they need to be on the same side of the transversal. So what I mean by that is if I'm looking at angle 1, it would either be 2, 3, or 4. It has to be, if one is on the top of the transversal, the other angle also has to be on the top. Okay, so that's your first criteria, same side. Your second criteria, it says interior. Well, if it says interior, it needs to be inside of your parallel lines. So what angles are on the same side of the transversal inside of your parallel lines? 2 and 3. Angle 2 and angle 3. They're both on the top of the transversal inside your parallel lines. There is one more set of same side interior. 6 and 7.
6 and 7.
Okay, angle 6 and angle 7. You need more paper? There you are, my dear. Thank you. Okay. Notice, these angles are supplementary angles. So what does that mean?
That equals 180.
Equals 180. Good. So angle 2 plus angle 3 equals 180 degrees. The same thing, angle 6 plus angle 7 equals 180 degrees. Okay. And the way I remember it, same side. Same side begins with an S, supplementary begins with an S. Okay, so same side, supplementary. If you move over to the next section, we're talking same side still. So if they're on the top, it has to stay on the top. If it starts on the bottom, it has to be on the bottom. My difference here was what, Dewan? Exterior. So instead of inside your parallel lines, they need to be on the outside. 1 and 4. Angle 1 and angle 4. And I heard angle 5 and angle 8. Okay. 1 and 4 are both on the top of the transversal, outside of my parallel lines this time. 5 and 8 are outside the parallel lines, but on the bottom of the transversal. These are also supplementary. Again, same side. S S, supplementary. Okay, so I can add angle 1 and angle 4, and it should equal 180. I can add angle 5 plus angle 8, and that should also equal 180. Stefan, I need you to get your notes out and take them. Come on. Okay, so we just got done talking same side. If you move over to the next one, this time it says alternate. So they're not going to be on the same side anymore. You're going to have one on the top of the transversal and one on the bottom. Okay, so they're alternate. Interior. So opposite of your transversal, inside the parallel lines. What'd you say? Not 2 and 6.
3 and 6.
3 and 6.
So it'll be 2 and 7.
And 2 and 7. Okay.
Oh, they like that crossover.
They kind of cross.
Yeah.
Okay. So angle 2 and angle 7. But you were on the right page there, Deja. Okay, you were inside. So angle 2 and angle 7, angle 6, and angle 3. This time, these ones are congruent. Okay, the only ones that are supplementary are same side. If it does not begin with an S, think congruent. Okay, so what that means is angle 2 is equal to angle 7. And angle 6 is equal to angle 3. Okay, so we did alternate interior. The next ones are alternate exterior. So still opposite of the transversal, but outside of your parallel lines. Okay, 4 and 5. And 1 and 8. And again, these are congruent, which means angle 4 equals angle 5 and angle 1 equals angle 8. Okay, so the project that you're going to do with this, I'm going to give you all the instructions, and it's going to say something along the lines of you need to create 6 parallel lines and 2 transversals. Okay, so you're going to draw your streets first. And then it's going to tell you something like the post office has to be an alternate interior angle to the school. And you have to be able to put them in the right spots.
That's simple.
Okay. It gets a little bit more complicated because you've got so many buildings and stuff going on. But yeah. Yes, sir. Huh? Yes, you get a partner.
Okay.
Most of the kids enjoy that one. Okay?
It sounds like it's gonna be lit.
So now, let's go to this one. We've got something called corresponding angles. Okay? Corresponding angles have to be in the same position. Okay, so please pay attention. When you're talking corresponding, you're going to go to each parallel line where the transversal is. Okay, so think about this as an intersection. Okay, so this is intersection 1, and then you've got intersection 2. Okay, so let's say you're driving down the street this way. When you get to this intersection, you've got 1 on your left and 5 on your right. Okay? If you get down to this section, if 1 is on your left, it goes with 3 on your left. Okay? So angle 1 and angle 3 are corresponding angles. So that's your first one. Angle 1 and angle 3. It's in the top left. It's in the top left. They're in the same positions. So if I gave you angle 6, angle 6 goes with angle 8. Bottom right, bottom right. So what else can I pair? 5 and 7, and 2 and 4. Okay, so when you're thinking corresponding angles, create yourself some intersections. They have to be in the same position. And again, corresponding angles are congruent, which means each one of these are equal to each other. So if angle 1 is 60 degrees, angle 3 is 60 degrees. If angle 5 is 120, angle 7 is 120. Okay, your corresponding angles are congruent. Yesterday we talked about vertical angles. Well, you also have vertical angles in this picture. Remember, your vertical angles are across the V. So if I start you off with angle 1, what is vertical to angle 1? Angle 6. It's across that V. So angle 1 and angle 6. Angle 5 and angle 2. Angle 4 and 7. And angle 3 and angle 8. And again, these are also congruent. So if angle 3 is 20 degrees, angle 8 is 20 degrees.
That was right. What? There are
Okay. We also talked about linear pairs yesterday. Remember, linear pairs are a special type of supplementary angle. They must be side by side and create a straight line. So, again, if I start you off with angle 1, what is supplementary linear pair with angle 1? You've got two options. Angle 2 or angle 5. Angle 1 and 2 are side by side and create a straight line. That makes them a linear pair. So angle 1 and angle 2, or you could pair angle 1 and angle 5. Again, they're side by side and create that straight line. If I give you angle 8, angle 4, or angle 7. There's a ton of these. I'm not going to fit them all on here. Okay. Again, these ones are supplementary. So if I add the two together, you get 180 degrees. We also have angles that have absolutely no relationship formed between the two, but they are also supplementary. Okay, I'm not going to worry so much about these. I'll give you a couple of them, but I'm not going to ask you to find these. Okay, that's not the goal of our lives. So something like angle 1 and angle 7. There's no relationship. Okay, they are alternate, but one's on the exterior, one's on the interior. So they have no relationship formed between them. Or something like angle 5 and angle 3. Okay. And again, these are also supplementary. So if I add them together, they equal 180.
spraying like some full breeze.
Okay. I need you to glue this in on page 106.
Jesus.
Jesus.
Yeah. Jesus. I got him on. Jesus.
This will probably need glued in sideways so it fits. Yes, ma'am. What?
Who?
Because I don't know that.
It's not all that.
What page?
Yeah.
106.
KOD.
KOB.
KOD. Yeah, the last song he just little point.
Okay. Last page for in your notebook. You need to cut off the excess around the edge.
Oh, I wasn't ready.
Now, what are we supposed to cut?
Cut off the excess around the outside edge. Cut off the big rectangle.
Oh, we're not doing the back?
I stopped with white out.
On the back to what?
We're not doing this. It's an off-white.
Yeah.
Oh.
Cut around the edge so we can fold it so it fits in your notebook.
Hey, come on. I might, it wasn't worth the wait, bro.
Huh?
It wasn't worth the wait.
Yeah, it wasn't worth
Now, all we gotta wait is for June or July. Yeah. Take care too.
Okay, what we're gonna do with this
Oh, you
foldable,
know what's in there?
what we're gonna do with this foldable is now that you know how to identify them and where they are, you also are going to need to be able to solve for an unknown variable. Okay, so how we said your same side or supplementary. You're gonna have to identify these are same side, so I need to add them together and set them equal to 180 to solve for my unknown. Okay, so once you get this cut out, it's gonna fold exactly the way that your other one did. This flap comes down. And this flap folds up. Okay, so it'll look like this.
Oh, my doing a perfect smile. I'm away. Down.
No, I meant July 4th. That's what it was.
Mm-hmm.
Early, like,
Most legendary songs he made.
Yeah, Kanye. Kanye and Kid Cudi.
That's more soul.
Day and night.
Oh, crash.
Oh, yeah.
Bro, this is not jump, bro.
Day and night. We gonna make me listen to that song.
Huh?
I think you gonna make me listen to that song. That was a song? Day and night.
Yeah.
Nobody can make you do anything.
No, I like you make like
Like flashbacks.
Yeah, but
Because, like, I remember one time we stayed at a house club. Flashback, Drake song. But Take Care 2 better go hard. If you want to bring me for Take Care 1, bro. Take Care 2 better go hard.
I wrote this, so what did you do wrong?
Huh?
I wrote it.
Hey, who wants some orange fancy?
Me.
It's
Shoot, you
trash.
already know.
Me.
Okay, not right now. We got stuff to do. We almost done.
Here, go get some.
And because it's the weekend, I give you a nice short assignment.
How about no?
Hey, hold on. Hey.
Again, I can go make extra coffee.
How about nowhere?
Again, I can go make some extra coffee.
My phone broke last night. So,
Bro. I just seen you this morning. I just seen you this morning.
Ooh. Fresh. Who wants some crash?
Okay, let's take a look at these. Top left, same side interior angle. angles. Okay, so same side interior angles are inside angles.
You don't cut it?
No, you don't have to. You can cut the flaps if you want, but most of you don't. It actually goes better in your notebook because the more flaps you have, the more a chance of ripping and all that stuff. Okay, so they're inside angles on the same side of the transversal. So don't get confused because the picture's changed. My parallel lines now go from left to right. If you're used to seeing the parallel lines up and down, guess what? Flip your paper. Make it go up and down. Okay, so if you're used to what we just did, flip your paper and make it what you're used to seeing. So this angle and this angle are same side interior. They're inside of those parallel lines and on the same side of your transversal. Or this one and this one. So if your parallel lines go up and down, it looks like this. If your parallel lines go left and right, they look like this. Okay, so it doesn't matter how I manipulate how your lines look. The same rules apply. They still need to be inside of your parallel lines on the same side of your transversal. So instead of them both being on the top, they're both on the left this time, or both on the right. Okay, we said same side interior angles are what? Were they supplementary or congruent? Supplementary. Same side, SS, makes these supplementary.
So,
Which means that they're equal to 180. Guys.
yes, man.
Okay. They're same side, so they're equal to 180. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to look at a picture. And they're going to have stuff labeled. And you're going to have to say, okay, these are same side supplementary interior angles. Okay? So you need to identify what they are first. Once you identify what they are, you're going to have to set them equal to an equation. If they're supplementary, you add them together and set them equal to 180. If they're congruent, you set them equal to each other. So these ones are same side interior angles, so they're supplementary. So the way we solve this is we add the two together. 3x for the first angle plus 60 for the second angle should equal 180 degrees.
That's crazy because you can just multiply them and get eventually to 180.
Okay. So what's my first step if you have your equation written like this?
Oh,
Subtract this 60. Subtract this 60 and you get 120. Fantastic. Josue, if I have 3x equals 120, how do I get x by itself now?
divide.
Fantastic. We divide by 3.
No.
I do not. I do not. So x equals 40. Questions?
No.
Not too bad, right?
No, not too bad at all.
Not yet.
Oh.
Okay.
What do you use?
All right. On this side, we're in the top right. Guys, can we please take care of this later? Or I'm just going to take it and hold it, and you can't have it till the end of class. Okay. The candy, the stuff, stop. Not in the middle of me teaching. I don't need stuff being tossed around my room. Corresponding angles. What did we talk about with corresponding angles? They're congruent. Okay, so this bottom is their congruent. What does congruent mean?
Same.
Equal. They're the same. Okay? However you want to look at it. So, corresponding angles have corresponding positions relative to the transversal. Again, create yourself intersections when you're talking corresponding angles. So you have your first intersection up here, where your first parallel line is. Your second intersection then is down here, where that parallel line is. So if I'm talking the angle in the top left, it corresponds to the angle in the second one, top left. So first intersection, second intersection, we're talking top left, top left. So think same position. Okay, so what if I mark the second intersection on the bottom right? Bottom right of my top one. Okay, top right goes with top right. Bottom left goes with bottom left. Okay, so any one of those, you will have 4 sets of corresponding angles. Okay. And you're told me they're congruent. So when you find a picture that shows you corresponding angles, okay, 63 is on the top left, 2x plus 1 is on the top left. So these are corresponding angles. You told me they're congruent, which means that they're equal. So we set them equal to each other. So 2x plus 1 equals 63. Stefan, what's my first step to getting x by itself with this equation? Think about it. I want to get everything gone that does not have an x with it first. So we got to get rid of the 1. How do I do that? Look at what's happening with your 1. What's happening with your 1 in the equation? Good. It's being added, so you need to subtract. Okay, so we subtract 1 on both sides. You get 2x equals 62. Elijah, what's my last step to get x by itself? Divide. Fantastic. Divide by 2. So x equals 31. Good, Marlon. Okay, so that's how you set up and solve with corresponding angles. Again, we're just going to do the basics today. So you're going to have to look at a picture, tell me what kind of angles they are, and then figure out how to set up the equation and solve. Okay, down here, alternate interior angles. What do we know about alternate interior? They're on opposite sides. Okay, so this blank here is opposite sides of the transversal. What does it mean to be interior? Inside the parallel lines. Okay, so either this angle and this angle, they're still inside those parallel lines, but one's on the left and one is on the right. Or this angle and this angle. Again, one's on the left and one is on the right of the transversal, but they're still inside of those parallel lines. And we said before, alternate interior angles are what? Are they supplementary or congruent? Congruent. Fantastic. The only ones you should look at that are going to be supplementary are anything that is same side. Everything else is congruent. So if they're congruent, how do I set up this equation? What should it look like, Dewan? If they're congruent, they're what? Equal. So what's the equation going to look like? Good. 3x, which is your one angle, should be equal to 139 because they're congruent. So they're equal to each other. Ashanti, how do I get x by itself? Divide. Y'all probably think I'm on repeat. We do the same things. We either add or subtract, and then we divide.
Yeah.
Yes.
My body's full.
Okay, you said what?
46.
46.3. So x equals 46.3. Okay. Finally, the last one. Alternate exterior angles. What does alternate mean? Opposite. Opposite of the transversal. Okay, so that second blank should be opposite. What does it mean to be exterior?
Outside.
Outside. Okay, so now instead of being in the middle, we're on the outside. So either this one and this one together, or this one and this one. And are these types of angles supplementary or congruent? Congruent as well. So if these are congruent, Mr. Watkins, what should this equation look like?
2x plus 1 is 1.
Good. 2x plus 1 equals 101. First step is what, Amelie? Subtract 1. 2x equals 100.
X equals 50.
X is going to equal 50. Ureli, how did we get that, though? What do I need to do to make x equal to 50? Divide.
All these are reps in the classroom.
Right. Everybody changed their name to Ureli
My
today.
name is your belly.
Your belly?
Yeah.
Like get in my belly, your belly?
Oh, whoa.
What is that? Austin Powers,
That's my
the
grandfather.
fat Irish man. He goes, get in my belly.
Stop learning.
Okay.
That's my grandfather.
Does anybody have questions?
No, ma'am.
You get some new batteries.